By the time I was 16, I was on the road with Ted Nugent. I don't know if y'all know who that is or not.
Oh my
We
God.
do. I do.
For sure.
Music was the most important thing to me at that time, but the ghost hunting was there because of that. And I know I didn't say ghost hunting because I don't even really use that term ghost anymore because we don't know what it is. It's a phenomena, but we don't know. We barely scratched the surface on it.
When I was 5, I lived with my mother and father and older brother.
At least I could draw, I told myself.
It was just me, my cats, and my imagination.
Created protective cover, just enough where he could keep his underwear on.
Tonight, we're joined by Keith Age, the man they call the legendary rock and roll ghost hunter. With 50 years in the paranormal field and even longer as a professional musician, Keith brings a mix of grit, humor, and rock and roll swagger to every investigation. He's the founder of the Louisville Ghost Hunters Society, host and associate producer of the Booth Brothers' acclaimed Spooked TV documentaries on Sci-Fi and Chiller, and the face behind films like Ghosts of Waverly Hills, Children of the Grave, The Possessed, and The Haunted Boy. You've seen him across networks and documentaries, and now he's teaming up with J.C. Rositas of Crimson Night Productions and his own Black Leather Productions on a brand new project called Bourbon Spirits. He's played music with Ted Nugent and the Kentucky Headhunters, and he can pick up just about any instrument and make it sing. A true original in the paranormal media. Please welcome Keith Age.
Hi.
Okay, so why don't you? I'm interested in. I love music too. Love music. I want to know how you got into the paranormal and what took you down that path. And you have a lot of expertise in that area. So
Let me answer your question by going back a little bit further. I started playing music when I was 10 years old. I was taught how to play guitar by a guy named Rusty Inns, who is still out playing today. Matter of fact, I just shot a documentary on him. And by the time I was 12, I was playing in bars.
Excellent.
Times were a whole lot different. That was the 70s.
Right.
By the time I was 16, I was on the road with Ted Nugent. I don't know if y'all know who that is or not.
Oh my
We
God.
do. I do.
For sure.
When I got back, I met this young lady. Of course, my hair was down to here at that point, full beard, and I was 17 years old and had almost $100,000 I'd made in a whole year.
wow.
It was a bad combination. 17 years old, 1970s, a lot of money. Oh yeah, flashy car. Y'all want to do what? Let's go. You know, uh, but I did do some good things with that money. Anyway, I met this girl who never would let me meet her mom and dad, and I kind of figured, well, it's the rock and roll look, you know. And then on her 17th birthday, her mom actually came over to my house and invited me to her surprise party. And I was like, hell yeah, I'll come. You said the word party. This was the 70s, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Let's go. And I lived it all, trust me. And I got over there. She answered the door and was just mortified. I was like, well, hell, your mom invited me. And she's like, for what? And I'm like, well, she told me it was a surprise party. I can't say. I was like, she invited me for dinner. And she's like, oh my God, okay. She said, but you don't understand. I went, what? I said, what's wrong? She said, we have a ghost in the house and he doesn't like my sisters and my boyfriends. And I was like, let's go smoke another one. Let's go. you know. And so got in there and we sat on this couch. It's just a little ranch house. You could see down the hallway into the master bedroom. There was a mirror facing us. So I could see our reflection on the couch down the hallway. And something kept walking and breaking that reflection. So, and they're telling me about the ghosts, and I'm like, this is so BS. I don't believe in this stuff. And so I kept going down to the bedroom and make sure there wasn't nobody down there messing with us. So then me being young, dumb, and stupid said, come on out, do something. Prove to me. I don't believe in you. Show me you're real. Do something. And I did this for several hours. We had dinner. She opened her gifts. Time to go. We're standing in the living room by the front door, and I go to kiss her goodbye. And I'm leaning in like this, and I felt on my arm. And I
Wow.
thought, oh, great, Dad's got me. Well, Dad's sitting over here in a lazy boy. His eyes are about this big because he sees what's coming. And next thing I know, before I even actually get to kiss her goodbye, I will also say, I'm flying backwards through the front door, through the screen door, and I landed about 6 feet out past the porch. And I remember when I kind of coming to my senses, I couldn't breathe. All the wind was knocked out of me. And I was a professional fighter at this time. I could take some
Wow.
damage. And this hurt. And this was a lot of power. And I remember trying to catch my breath and going, fingers, toes, what's working, what's not. And then I remember hearing her screaming, her mother screaming, and other people screaming. And I'm looking up to this mangled doorway, and I'm like, that was so effing cool. Do it again. And I've been hooked ever since. Because back then, there
Wow.
wasn't, you might find a few books in your library by Bruck and Holzner,
Yeah.
but that was it. If you were lucky, the rest of it was about Bigfoot and ghost stories and witches and goblins and UFOs, but there wasn't nothing about how to hunt ghosts. And I started just doing things on my own and playing music, still touring and going out and doing everything. You ever heard of the Kentucky Headhunters?
Yeah. Yeah.
I knew them back when they were called Itchy Brother. And we all toured around together and stuff. Matter of fact, Greg Martin, the lead guitarist, him and I just did a gig together. And so music was the most important thing to me at that time, but the ghost hunting was there because of that, what had happened. And then I started getting a reputation around town, as somebody who did hunt ghosts. And back then, late 70s, you either did this kind of in silence or you had the guys in the white coats with the big nets going, you hunt ghosts, huh?
Yeah.
And then, like I said, I started the Louisville Ghost Hunters in 1996 when the TV shows hit, starting in the early 2000s. Ghost Hunters came out, and then we came out the year after, and the top three was Ghost Hunters, us, and Patrick Burns' show, Haunting Evidence, for 2 years. And then the whole ghost hunting explosion just took off at that point. And me and Jason and Grant were all over the place doing things, and of course, sci-fi's going, go here, go there, do this, do that, and we did. But I still, like I said, I have never once. And that's a good thing about the Booth brothers. I love to death that the agreement we made was I said, if I can explain something, we explain it. If I can't, I'll say I can't. And that's something they've always done. They've lived up to that. And, I had a lot of fun. 10 years on the road with those two guys making documentaries on the paranormal with some great places. Had a lot of fun, a lot of great locations, and a lot of miles. One of the best ones was with your buddies Tina and Adrian.
Tell that.
When we were filming, the Possessed and Soul Catcher, we didn't know which one it was going to be in yet. We went to an Indian town, and it's on Indian land. I'm not going to say exactly where it's at. But the minute we stepped on the Indian land, white man had to give up his 45. White men could not have weapons like that. And yes, I've carried, and I still carry But we go into the school, it's getting dark, and we're just wanting to explore a little bit. And everything is just like it was left when it was abandoned. Everybody just got up in the whole town and just walked away. And we're walking around, it's getting dark, and all I've got to see from is my thermal imager right in front of me, little 2x2 screen. It's getting dark. I'm looking at the screen, I'm getting blinded. That's all I can see. If I look away, everything's dark. Everything's dark. So we're walking through this maze of this classroom. There's leaves, twigs, dirt, books everywhere. You can tell animals have been through it and everything, but we're just exploring. And I take a step, and I think I'm stepping on a branch. I can feel it's, got some girth underneath my foot. And when I step on it, I hear, so I stop. And Adrian, who's behind me, goes, "Dude, I really hope it's your belly growling." And I was like, "No, I was kind of hoping it was yours." So I was like, "You know what? Let's be a little bit smarter about this." I said, "Let's get out of here while it's dark, and let's bring some lights in." And I stepped back, and I stepped on it again, and again you hear this low growl.
Wow.
But it was echoing so much in this empty room, didn't know where it was. So I'm dropping the camera, trying to get my eyesight back. And do you know what dailies are in filmmaking? Okay. It's when you go the next day and you watch what you filmed the day before.
Oh, yeah.
So we're watching this, and you're seeing, we hear the growl, you hear me and Adrian talking, you see me starting to back up, you see the camera doing this, dropping, and as I'm going back one more step, all of a sudden the screen just lights up in vivid red colors. Something hot that I picked up. Well, it's weird looking, and we're going, "What the hell is that?" And Philip Booth goes, "Wait a minute." And he rotates the image around. It's a mountain lion with his mouth open this big. I've stepped on his tail twice.
Wow.
Ghost hunting can be fun.
I still can't believe that thing did not eat you.
Oh, and in Red, who had my gun, he goes, "I would have shot that cat." I said, "You'd have shot every one of us with the 15-shot clip in that gun."
Right.
Before you even touch that cat,
Oh my
he'd
God.
be dragging us off.
That is
But,
crazy.
like I said, we had a lot of adventures, a lot of fun.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've
That's
done a
amazing.
lot with the Booth brothers too. Out of everything that you did with them, do you have anything that really stands out as your favorite?
As far as movie-wise,
Yeah.
no. I like several of them really well. And I've caught some great evidence in several of them that we were able to show. That boarding school that is no longer there in Ohio, that's where I caught what we call the Peter Pan effect. And again, we had a psychic going, and it's not good to let me have a camera and just say, "Wait here," because if I get bored or whatever, I'm going to leave things up to my own devices and say, "Let's figure out what's fun." So this psychic was doing that, and I was really bored with it. So I just started looking around the room, and there's a grip standing over here. A grip is a person who holds cameras, fetches this, gets that, whatever, So they're standing there holding a light bar, and the Booth brothers are filming the psychic, and right next to this grip, I'm thinking it's his thermal shadow on the wall. So I tell him, "Raise your hand." Well, he raises his hand, the shadow raises his hand. I have him do 4 or 5 other things, the shadow does the same thing. And before I could ask him to do something else, the shadow walks away from the grip and comes over here on the other side of the wall. And I'm getting all this on film. And I'm just like, what? And this goes on for 7 minutes. And this thing's moving on its own, doing all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, whoa. And then all of a sudden, it just walks away and disappears on the wall. And we sent it to Fleer, who created, thermal imaging. And said, what the hell is this? And they're like, we have no idea.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's cool.
Because the grip, you could see his hand, and it's lit up red, showing his heat, holding the light bar. And they're like going, we don't know. And before we could actually go back to that place, kids burned it down.
Oh, wow. Uh-oh.
Mm.
So if
That
you want to
happens
see
a
that, that is in The Possessed.
Oh,
Okay.
really?
Okay.
Now, I can see how that could be kind of addicting.
Yeah.
Very-
Yeah, that was 30 years into my career.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, a lot of people know me as the guy who opened up Waverly Hills. I did. I created all the tours. For 5.5 years, I did all the tours. And I
Now-
pulled some of the original evidence out of that place.
Now, what is Waverly Hills? I don't
Yes,
know.
we don't know what Waverly Hills is. Pam probably does, but we don't.
I do.
Are you kidding?
I'm not
It is-
kidding.
You're not getting into
It
ghost
is-
hunting and stuff.
And I
It
believe
is-
in ghosts.
I do too.
So I need
Okay.
to know.
Well, it's supposed to. It's called one of the most haunted places in America. It's
Okay.
a tuberculosis hospital here in.
Oh, I have heard of it. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Really?
It is huge. It's over 1 million square feet,
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
and it's 5 floors.
Yeah.
And a lot of people died there. There is a chute that runs from there, top of this hill, all the way down to Dixie Highway, and there's a train track right there. And that's where they put a rail car system into the chute. And people were dying 6 to 10 people a day. And they'd put them on this rail car and take them down to the train tracks and ship them off.
Right.
But Waverly Hills was considered the best place to go to if you had tuberculosis. It was completely innovative for its time. It's 1926, so 100 years. It's 100 years old now, and that's the third Waverly Hills hospital that's been up there. A lot of people don't know that.
I don't think I knew that.
Oh yeah, the first one was just basically a small little wooden shack, but because it was up on top of this great big hill in southwestern Jefferson County, people went up there, and that's where they got treated, and
Yeah, and most of them went away to die. I mean, my dad got TB when he was in his second year of medical school, and he went to a sanitarium, and he was one of the first people to ever have the pneumothorax. They collapse one lung to give them.
and Waverly Hills is where that was developed at.
See, I don't know which one he was at. What state was Waverly
It's in
Hills in?
It's
Kentucky.
in Louisville, Kentucky.
No, I think he was a little farther east, up from Pennsylvania, toward the Canadian border.
But yeah, the pneumothorax. This was a teaching hospital, an experimental hospital.
Yeah.
And this is where that was developed at. And
Yeah.
they came up with it. And for those who don't know what a pneumothorax is, it's where to help that lung breathe, they remove ribs to give it more room.
Yeah.
But they basically gut you like a fish to do it. And back then, it's still in the procedure is still done today, but it's done a whole lot differently.
Yeah, it's very different, but yeah.
Yeah, and with Waverly, because it was on top of this hill and the building was so big, it had a southwestern wind that came in. So you had an atrium all around the backside on 4 floors. Well, the people who had a chance, because all they knew how to do back then was give you aspirin, morphine, all the food you can, healthy food you can eat,
Mhm.
healthy for then, and then all the fresh air. That's all they knew how to do.
Right. That's all they did. Yeah. And some
So-
survived, but most
Yeah.
didn't.
Well, if you had any chance of surviving at Waverly Hills, you were put on the backside, and there's this, like I said, the atrium. They wheeled these beds out so they could get fresh air for hours every day. If if they knew you didn't have a chance, you were put on the front side in just little rooms, and that's where they died. But like I said, they were dying. The epidemic was so bad in Louisville. For the White Death, as they called it. Like I said, people were sent here, and that was the law back then. After researching Waverly, that's when I started learning all this stuff. But if you had tuberculosis as of 1911 in America, you had to go to a sanatorium, not terium, torium. There's a difference. You know what the difference is?
I don't actually.
Sanatorium is physical health. Sanitarium is mental health.
Well, okay. Interesting.
Okay? And Waverly was both eventually. But, you know, you had to go there, and they did not know how this disease spread. Louisville is was like a swamp at one time. We have all these hills around us, a low pressure system that stays here most of the time. So this germ came in and just incubated right here.
Yeah.
And it got stuck right here. Streptomycin, which is the cure for TB, wasn't found until 1957.
I know.
By accident, yeah.
Yeah, I can remember. I mean, my dad was the head of a sanitarium in Santa Barbara, a TB sanitarium. And I remember when streptomycin came in.
Wow.
Yeah. And almost overnight, it eradicated TB.
It would be like a cure for cancer, you know. It would be like that.
Yeah. And, you know, and these people who were there, my God, they did all kinds of things for them because they found out early on, not only is physical health good, but mental health is good too. They taught them all kinds of different crafts, how to type, basket weaving. They won basket weaving at the Kentucky State Fair like 5 years in a row.
That's cool.
You know, the patience.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was a great place. And Waverly is, like I said, that's where I've been thrown through a wall. I've had my head busted open 4 or 5 times. And the last time was on national TV on Fox News. And they were there with me all night long. And then the next morning, the reporter and I, we walked through a doorway and we step over to the right. The camera's already set up, and you can see us, and you got some of my ghost hunters around me. And you see this big hunk of, it's not plaster, it's cement, horsehair cement. That's what the walls are coated with.
Wow.
Just comes flying straight off the wall behind me and just hits me in the back of the head, and just pow, knocks me down. And I'm kind of going, you know, trying to get my head together. Yeah. And I'm hearing screaming. The reporter's running down the hallway, you know, and I look up and the cameraman's going, get up, say something, do something. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I can't even see straight right now. And then you see my ghost hunters, the Louisville Ghost Hunters, they're picking up the fragments of this and they're trying to piece it back together. And I'm kind of looking at them like, y'all want to give me a little hand here? You know, you know, I can, you know, I've just had my bell rung really hard.
Dang.
But there is phenomena there, and you know, like I've only been back there once since 2005, and you know, there's a lot of great places. If you want to go somewhere, go to Romania. Go to Poneri. Go to Poneri Castle, because everybody thinks that the castle that's in town is Dracula's castle. His real castle is on Poneri, and you can buy it right now for $2 million. but you got to walk up 2,100 steps up a mountain
Oh my
to
gosh.
get to it. And you know what he did on those 2,100 steps? That's where he impaled
Oh,
2,100 Turkish soldiers, or 21,000 Turkish soldiers.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, Vlad is a great war hero in Budapest, in Romania.
Oh,
He's not Bela Lugosi,
Yeah.
but he did do some pretty wild things. Poneri is awesome. There's some great places here locally, not locally, but in the States. I love Post-Town Elementary School
where's that
in
at?
Middletown, Ohio.
Oh, cool.
When we went there to film the first time, do you know who Sid Haig is or was?
Who?
Sid Haig.
No.
He was Captain Spaulding in The House of a Thousand Corpses, and
Oh, okay.
Nice.
He was a ghost hunter too, and him and I were friends for a long, long time. And we were filming in Ohio, and we'd done this rectory the day before, and I didn't know it, but as we're carrying up gear up these concrete steps, there was a hole in the carpet, and my foot hit it. And Scotty Rourke, who's standing up top of the stairs, looks at me and goes, "Watch for that." About that time, I go down. And my girlfriend at the time was right here, and she was carrying a computer bag. Well, she jerks around real quick and just clocks me with this computer so hard that I go this way, and I hit this 55-gallon drum that they're using as a garbage can, and I hear this break. And they're both laughing at me, and I'm going, I think I broke my leg. And this guy's going, get up. You won't be able, you'll be all right. Yeah, walk it off. So I get up and I walk it off, but I'm hurting like hell. And so I find out the next day using a thermal imager, you can actually see the break in my leg. I broke it in two places.
Wow. And you got up and walked. Oh my God.
You're tougher than me.
Yeah,
So
right, Pam, right?
Yeah. And
Hey,
Scotty Rourke sitting there looking at me, goes, "Man, that looks broke." I was like, "Some psychic you are, man. Shit, look at that." So the next day we went to Post-Town for the first time. Now I'm standing outside at the SUV that we're traveling in. I'm really hurting. It's hot. I'm sweating. I've had 3 Vicodins trying to kill some of this pain. And I look up, and there's Sid Haig, Captain Spaulding, coming at me, and I'm going, man, I must be worse than I thought. I'm hallucinating here. And then I got to realize, I said, wait a minute, Sid Haig's 6'4". This, whatever this thing is, walking at me is just a little over 5 foot. Walks up and starts talking to me in this deep voice, and I'm like, well, he sounds like Sid. And then I'm looking at him some more, and he sticks his hand out. He goes, "Hi, I'm Daryl. I'm the owner of Post-Town." And I went, "Oh, why do you look like Captain Spaulding?" He goes, "Oh, I was dressing up for the kids over here for something." I was like, "So you dress up as a killer clown for children?" Okay. So I went up to the 3rd floor. We're walking around. You got me and the Booth brothers, him, and my girlfriend at the time. He was showing us around. And we get this long hallway, and I've got a voice recorder going on so I can hear everything. And it's in my pocket, except for the microphones are sticking out. And we listen to it later, and you can hear Daryl because he has got a really deep voice. Then you can hear the Booth brothers, who are British, and you cannot mistake that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only 3 voices going on. And out of nowhere, as we're going by this window, you hear a woman screaming, blood-curdling screams.
Wow.
And I didn't hear it till after we started playing this back, and we filmed there and got some really great stuff. And went back home to Kentucky, and I went to the hospital, and they're like going, when did you break this? And I said, oh, it is broken. Yeah, 2 places. And I said, last weekend, I was like, can you just set it? And they're like, we can't set this now. All we can do is split it up and hopefully
Yeah.
it heals.
You redo it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang it.
So I just added that with the 3 bullet wounds and the umpteen million knife cuts and just went, okay, part of my life.
Have you ever met a happy ghost?
I don't know. I think this is how I rationalize it. If you're a mean, evil person in life,
Yeah.
that's probably how you're gonna be if you ever get to go over.
Okay.
And the closest thing I can say I've met to a happy ghost was a town jail prison up in Illinois where the gallows was still there, where they hung people. And I brought this young lady in with me, and she said we got just me, her, in a cell, and a cameraman outside the cell. And she told the whatever's around us, have fun with me, and it did. So that's yeah. I'd say I met a happy ghost.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
He was happy enough to where you could see her clothes moving, her hair moving, and this kid who was, I call him a kid, he was a college kid. He was filming outside, looking in, and I'm kind of just keeping my mouth shut, watching it because it's pretty awesome to me. And he leans over and goes, "Man, I didn't sign on to film a porn. I don't care if it's with a ghost or not." He goes, I was like, "Yeah, it is getting a little intense, isn't it?" And he goes, "Yeah." I said, so I told her, I said, "Okay, we're going to get out of here and leave y'all alone. Consider it your hotel room." And we left. She came down about an hour later, but she was smiling.
Oh my gosh.
That's crazy.
I've had some intense things, and like I said, I've been lucky enough to capture it on film. If you want to do true paranormal exploration, and I know I didn't say ghost hunting because I don't even really use that term ghost anymore because we don't know what it is. It's a phenomena, but we don't know. We barely scratched the surface on it. It could be some microversial world that we're tapping into and just haven't found it yet. And the longer we have the ooga booga people out there creating the name and putting that out there, it's going to be longer for the real scientists to step in and go, let's take a hard look at this. And that's what does need to be. I'm not saying it doesn't happen because I've been thrown through walls and doors,
Wow.
and I mean literally thrown through them, lifted through the air and landed on a full shattered piece of glass. That was fun. Um, knocked down stairs and broke 7 bones. Uh, another thing is, people look at me and go, "Well, you're really old now." Yes, I am. I agree. But I still have my love for this and the passion for it. And that's why I still go out there and do it and still go to the cons and everything else and meet people. I love meeting people. And like I said, Pam can tell you I like to have fun. And
Yeah.
because a lot of people go with the expectation of, I've seen this on TV. Well, what you're not seeing is there's hours and hours and hours. And sometimes they don't get nothing, but it's TV and it has to be entertaining or the sponsors don't sell time.
Yeah.
And it's all about money when it comes to TV.
Yeah. I know.
And I would not really conform to that. And so, I really didn't care if I was in it anymore. But now I'm making documentaries and series and stuff.
Amazing.
But I don't get up here and go, oh, let's create something and fabricate it. If we get something great, I say we got something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But a lot of these people that are in it for the wrong reason now. They think they're going to get famous and make a lot of money. Well, let me tell you from somebody who's been doing this since the 90s on TV, paranormal pay sucks. Um, you know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
real simple. We're not actors. We're not in a union. Therefore, we have no protections, no nothing. And a lot of times, people just want to be so famous, they'll be on TV for nothing.
Yeah.
And production
Yeah.
companies take full advantage of that.
A drink. You were talking about really getting into documentaries and stuff. Can you talk about Bourbon Spirits?
Wow, you like my whiskey?
I do. I like the show too.
Yeah, you did. You did get to see the first episode, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah. Uh, Bourbon Spirits was basically Kentucky haunts, and us trying to document them. She's talking about the very first one. We went to a place called Henry Clay Building that I had been trying to get into for over 30 years, and then it was bought by the Marriott, and then they built a big Marriott right next door to it, and they wanted to get some promotion. So I'm like going, okay, cool. They spent $5 million cleaning this place
Wow.
up because for 30 years they've been boarded up and homeless people have been living there. And they had started fires in the place to keep warm. Every toilet, bathroom, even though there's no water, had been used to its full capacity. And you walk in, and I mean, this place used to be the centerpiece of Louisville in the early 1900s. It was designed by the same guy who designed Waverly Hills. And it had shops all the way around it. This was a rich person's place, honestly. When you get in, it has 4 theaters inside this building. And it had a roller skating rink, a suspended roller skating rink. It hung from the air, and some places still have those where you just roll around this track, no guardrails, just a track. And that's one of the cool things in Bourbon Spirits. This episode, we caught one of the people who were investigating caught what looks like a little boy in a storage area in a bunch of stuff. And they got looking around, looking at it, and well, by luck, I had run into a lady who told me her dad was there from the very beginning to the time they closed in maintenance. And I was listening to her tell me stories. And then she goes, "You want to talk to him?" I said, "Who?" She said, "My dad." I said, "He's still alive?" She goes, "Yeah, he's 94, but he's still alive. He's in a nursing home." And I went, "Oh, okay." And she goes, No. He still has all of his faculties. He's just paralyzed from the waist down. He can't move his arms and anything else below that." I was like, "Okay." So I send her this picture of the little boy and other pictures, and she's showing it to her dad. And he goes, "Oh, I remember this picture." He goes, "I know who that is." Now we're talking something that happened in 1928. Now it's 2022. And he's going, "I remember that little boy." He goes, "But there's something wrong with this picture." And she went, "What?" He goes, "It's in color." He goes, "That's little Bobby. He died in 1928. I remember the day he died and the sound his neck made when he hit the floor. He was skating with his father in this track. Now it's only 20 feet, but he let go of his dad's hand and over the side he went and he landed on his neck, broke his neck. And this maintenance man was there. He watched it. He said, "Yeah, that's little Bobby."
Oh my gosh.
And then we were able to look it up, and sure enough, a little boy named Robert something, I can't remember his last name, did die from a broken neck from a fall at Henry Clay building. So
That's amazing that he could actually,
yeah. So like I said, so that's Bourbon Spirits, what we started with, and we were able to go to a lot of different places. And I'm hoping to be able to go to one more place. But again, it's the double-edged sword. I want to talk about business. Don't want to talk about ghosts. This will hurt our business. This
Yeah.
might help our business.
Yeah.
It's the double-edged sword.
Yeah.
So
It is.
luckily, we were able to do an event there, Halloween, and they got a lot of people talking about it. So I'm hoping they'll come to their senses and go, well, hell yeah, you can come in and film here. We'd love that. This is Kentucky. This is bourbon country, baby.
I hope so. I was with you guys at Bell Mansion up in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
I'm sorry.
You're filming there. Yeah. It was fun. Actually, Scotty told us to go down in the basement, me and Shaw and Ken Romeller. And we went down there and had some really crazy experiences. And Scotty's like, if you want to catch something, go down there right now.
Yeah, we caught something down there. I can't tell you because it hadn't been released yet. But we caught it on thermal. And then there was also a young lady who was down there saying, hey, leave these people alone. I don't believe in you. And who do you think you are? And da 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 da. And we caught a voice going, who is this woman?
Nice.
And there were no men down there with her. It was just one, and one of them was actually a TV movie star that was down there with him. He was a real good friend of mine. They didn't hear anything, and she had my thermal, and that's how it got recorded.
Wow.
And do you remember who that person was?
I do. I'm pretty sure. I can't think of her name, but yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Mary Hampton.
Yes. I was like, I know her, but I can't think of her name.
A lot of people remember her as Kumar's mom, and from the movie Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
Yes.
But she's been in a lot of other stuff. She started out on General Hospital years and years ago. But she's also a ghost hunter.
She's super nice too.
And so was her husband. And a lot of y'all remember the TV show F Troop?
Mm-hmm.
Remember the bugler?
Bugler, yeah.
Dobbs the bugler. That was her husband, Jimmy Hampton. And he was in that. A lot of people remember him from Sling Blade, where he was nominated for an Academy Award.
Love Sling Blade.
And most people remember him, though. He was the father in Teen Wolf.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And just hell of a guy. Funny, nice. I met them at a gig, my first gig back after I had my brain surgery. And I was only 132 pounds. I'd lost so much weight.
Wow.
And I was bald. And I got this nice big crescent scar on top of my head. And I'd never met him before. But me, him, and her were put up on this dais, up on this stage. And just the three of us. And we kind of like, he kept saying, well, I'm waiting for somebody to ring the bell going fresh meat. And so we're sitting there, and I didn't know him from Adam other than the fact I knew who he was. And next thing I know, this was in 2011, 12. He's got me in a headlock, standing up, and I don't want to hurt this old man next to me. And he goes, Mary, give me that black Sharpie and that purple Sharpie. And she hands him to him. She goes, what are you going to do? He goes, he's got me in a headlock with this scar on top. And he goes, I'm making a tattoo. Oh, no. And I was like, get the hell away from me, man. So that was my introduction to the Hamptons, and we've been close friends ever since. But she has been on several different places with me, and she loves the paranormal, and
she's super sweet.
Yeah. Matter of fact, she's getting ready to go overseas for next several months, filming stuff, and bring in a couple plays and stuff. She's, I think, Korean by nature.
Yeah,
I think that's her nationality.
I think so.
No.
Yeah.
You need to seek these phenomenons out, these ghosts. They don't come to you. Or
Well,
could you summon one if you wanted?
me and my wife got married 5 years ago, and we bought this house. And my wife is an empath. She feels things. I do not.
Oh, really?
But no, I'm a psychic as a brick. I'll admit it. Like I said, if things that have been thrown at me and hit me, I would have ducked. Trust me.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I said, I don't like stitches like the next guy.
Right.
And but we've had a few things happen here, like money dropping from the ceiling. And I'm not talking just a dime, penny, nickel. I'm talking one time that we counted up over $5 worth of change, just hit the floor.
Wow.
And then we had a $5 bill show up one night too. Do you remember John Tincher?
Yes.
Sam?
Yes.
John was my best friend for years. Him and I traveled all over America doing this stuff, played music together, and we had, I don't know if you've ever heard, it's called musician talk. You have code words and certain things you say that only you two know, understand. And him and I did have a code word we used, and we said it for music, starting songs, women, just you name it. But the two of us knew what we meant. We were really close. John could build anything too. He built a lot of my gear for me that I designed, and to my specs. And he died suddenly at investigating the Hannah house. He had a massive heart attack. Got him to the hospital, and they brought him back, and he died a little while later. But he was doing something he loved. That was fine. So anyway, when all this stuff was happening, I put up some voice recorders in the house, and we did. We caught children laughing and talking, but we couldn't tell what they were saying. Caught a voice that says, "Good night, John." And there's only been one other owner of this house. It was built in '54, and his name wasn't John. And I've had going to bed, walking down the hallway, coming through the living room, go down the hallway, and I've been told, "Have a good night," in this low voice. And I'm like, what the hell? And I came and got my gun and cleared the house. Cleared it twice. And that's the cop in me, because that's what your training teaches you.
Sure.
And nothing. But the coolest thing, sometimes when we're sitting in the back room, we'll hear voices, but we can't tell what they're saying. And we heard this conversation going on in the kitchen, and we were listening, turned off TV. And as I went to turn TV back on, I hear one word, and I went, whoa. Because I'm like, this is pretty cool. So I said, okay, if this is who I think it is, say that again. I turned the recorder on, and right here next to my ear, I hear the word "giddy up," and that was our code word.
Nice.
And we got it on audio recorded. And
Wow.
I'm like, okay. So I send it to John's sister, and I don't tell her anything. I said, look, I just want to play this for you. This is what I caught in my house last night. And all of a sudden, I play it, and you just hear a gasp. And that's John. That's my brother.
She recognized.
And the girl that it was one of his best friends, I call her the band wife because she sang Haley with us, and and they were inseparable. They worked together, daytime job, and hung out all the time. I played it for her, and she just started crying. She's like, "My God, that's John." And so, kind of think John has come around. So after that, that's when I had $5 worth of change hit the floor out of nowhere, and there's no attic. It's 25 feet straight up roof. It comes into a V. So there's nowhere this money could have came from. And like I said, the 5 dogs that were here at the time, they enjoyed the hell out of that. And the 4 cats. And the 4 cats. For those that don't know, my wife has a menagerie.
I mean, you must have some theory about why some people connect with ghosts and some don't.
Because they're nuts.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that. Like I said, I don't think every psychic is a fraud either. Even though that's kind of the way it comes across.
Yeah, I know, but there's some real psychics. I know there are.
Yeah, and like I said, Rick Hayes, Scotty, Chris, John Edwards.
Yeah,
I think they do have some real ability. My wife, when she says she feels something or anything, because if I disagreed with her, I'd be sleeping in a 6-car garage. But
I wouldn't mess with her.
God. But and I've seen too much to get up there and say, okay, this isn't a phenomena. We only use a 1/7 of our brain.
I know that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I don't know how much of that is connected, but I do know this: if you walk into a place with the expectation of it being haunted, it's going to be haunted.
Yeah.
And no matter what I show you, what I tell you, and say this is why this is happening, nah, it's a ghost. I mean, that's just I don't know if Pam's ever. I got stabbed over a damn orb picture once.
Yes.
And at a convention. Do you know who Kane Hodder is? He played Jason Voorhees, Friday the 13th.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
Him and I are old drinking buddies. And he was next to me. And this woman walks up, and we get this all the time. Pam can attest. What do you think about this picture?
Oh, yeah.
What do you think? And I'm looking at it. It's a dust orb. And she's like, that's my dead Aunt Petunia. And I went, wait a minute. So I stood up and started leaning over to show her the picture and explain how this phenomena is happening. And I feel hard. And I look down and I got a knife sticking out of my chest.
Oh my God.
Well, I went to swing and I couldn't move my arm. It's 8-inch knife and it's jammed in my arm socket, so I can't move my arm.
Horrible.
So
You're crazy.
I swing with my left and put her down.
Woo.
And I'm sitting there trying to pull this knife out, and Kane comes over and he goes, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "Trying to pull this out." He goes, "Sit your ass on the ground, boy." And I'm like, "Well, wait a minute." And he goes, "Let go." And next thing I know, he kicked my feet out from under me. And I look at, and he's 6'5", 300 pounds at this point, muscles. And I remember falling and him holding my arm, and I'm going to reach it again, and he goes, "You reach for that knife again, I'm going to knock you out." And
he didn't want you to pull it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to leave it in.
Right.
Well,
I'm just
You want it out.
Want it out.
And
yeah, I would.
So the sheriff comes. They go to arrest her. They put her on a gurney because he said, "You realize that woman's jaw's broken 4 places?" I said, "Good.
Yeah.
I'm real happy I can swing real good and connect with my left arm.
Right?
And
Dang.
Mhm.
and Kane's standing there and he goes, yeah, I thought he killed her. And I was like, great. So she went to prison for 17 years for premeditated murder.
Really?
Wow. Wowie,
Be-
wow.
because she carried this knife into this con,
Yeah.
with the expectations of doing something. She
Yeah.
got out of prison a couple years ago. I still got the knife though. I use it as my steak knife. Do you know who Johnny Lee is?
Johnny Lee. I know
Huh?
the name.
Musician, famous for a couple songs, mainly back in the 80s.
Oh,
You ever
I'm
heard of Looking for Love?
yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, toured with him. And then
Gosh.
Glenn Campbell bought my contract, and I toured with him for 2 years.
Oh my goodness.
And then the last tour I did with somebody else was with oh God, I can't remember. I'm going blank. Baby, don't fear the Reaper.
Oh,
I was going to say Blue Oyster Cult. That's wrong.
I know the song, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was in 2000. Matter of fact, if you look it up, you'll see a live version. We were in somewhere in Virginia, 10,000 people, and you see me playing bass and jumping around. I don't move like that no more.
none of us do. Well, again, Keith, thank you so much for hanging out.
I've got an orgy I got to get to. So
You gotta get to the orgy.
We don't want to hold you up.
Have fun. Have fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We really do.
Come back.
It's really nice to meet you both, and thanks
Yeah,
for
we
putting up with
totally
me.
have you on
Thanks,
again.
thanks for putting up with me.
Yeah. Come back.
It's
For
fun.
sure.
All right. See you guys. Thank you.
See ya. Well, Keith, you take care, and I will see you in October in Arkansas.
Hope so.
I hope so too.
I'm planning
All
on
right.
it.
Okay,
Again,
good deal.
thank y'all for having me. It's been
Yeah.
fun.
You guys take care, and we will talk soon.
Okay.
See ya.
Bye, Keith.